Student, today we will discuss about the electrocardiography. Okay, as I said, electrocardiography. Okay, so the process is known as the electrocardiography, and machine which we use for this purpose is known as the electrocardiograph. Okay, and the format of graph which we form on paper, this is known as the electrocardiogram. Please note down these things. Electrocardiogram paper. Okay, electrocardiogram paper में lines होती है बेटा, that is known as the electrocardiogram. And electrocardiography is the whole process, and the machine which we use for this purpose is known as the electrocardiograph. I hope this much is clear. So electrocardiograph, this machine was first discovered by Einthoven. Please learn this name. Einthoven in 1903 discovered electrocardiograph, which is a machine which we use for the electrocardiography. That's why Einthoven was known as the father of electrocardiography. But ECG was first recorded by Waller. First ECG was recorded by Waller. So these are the two different questions. Discovered by Einthoven machine, but the process was first recorded by Waller. Okay. So in we can see that a pan record. Those who have seen the electrocardiograph in modern clinical electrocardiography, they use the pan recorder. With the pan only, the diagram gets to be made on this graphical paper. Okay, so it may be connected to an oscilloscope which display it on TV type screen. On TV type screen also, have you seen the beep like structure on TV? That is oscilloscope. So ECG taken when patient is lying down, when patient is in resting position, that time it is known as the resting ECG. And just after exercise, if you take ECG, that time it's known as the stress ECG. Okay, so come to the point that this diagram which we discussed today, here you can see P wave. It's a P wave, PQ wave, PR wave, R wave, Q, S, ultimately T wave. So these terms we use here and we will relate it here. Please try to understand it. So P wave is the initial wave. It's a starting wave. It indicates the P wave indicates about the impulse of contraction generated by SA node. So it is also known as the atrial depolarization. Children, please remember, yesterday class only I told you contraction. Contraction means systole. So you can understand it. Systole means depolarization. Now, three terms I use here in normal condition. Polarized, suppose some muscles. Okay, muscles. Here positive charges are outside and negative charges are inside. Okay, so that time it is known as the normal condition. This is the normal condition. Second condition is of depolarized condition. Depolarized condition, again it's a muscle, and here again you can see that positive charge, but here one negative. So you can see that depolarization of charges takes place. Charges beta membrane से इधर उधर आ रहे हैं, means what condition is there? Depolarization. When the systole takes place, जब systole होता है, contraction होता है, SA node is present in right atrium. So when the contraction start at the atrial systole in both the atrias, right atria also and left atria also, when the contraction takes place, that time only depolarization takes place, and it indicated by the P wave. Okay, and P wave, it lasts for 62, you can understand it's a second, very smallest microsecond part. 60 to 110 microseconds. Are you getting that much? The interval of PQ represent atrial contraction. Can you check here? This is the PQ. It is known as the atrial contraction. एट्रियल कॉन्ट्रैक्शन एंड इट लास्ट फॉर 0.1 सेकेंड, यू नो इट वेरी वेल। कल ही बताया था बेटा, कॉन्ट्रैक्शन बहुत कम समय के लिए होता है, रिलैक्सेशन ज़्यादा टाइम के लिए होता है हार्ट पे। ओके, सो इफ़ यू काउंट फ्रॉम 0.8, 0.1, you can see here for the contraction. Now QRS wave, you can see here QRS wave, this wave, QRS wave. QRS wave indicate the spread of impulse of contraction from AV node to the wall of ventricles, calling ventricular depolarization. ये reason क्या बता रहे बेटा? Ventricular depolarization now only I told you, systole, contraction होता है, जब contraction होता है that is known as the depolarization. पहले कहाँ हुआ कॉन्ट्रैक्शन बेटा? सिस्टोल कॉन्ट्रैक्शन वेयर? एट्रियम में। अब कॉन्ट्रैक्शन कहाँ हो रहा है? वेंट्रिकल में। ओके, सो दैट्स वाई इट्स नोन एज द वेंट्रिकुलो डीपोलराइजेशन विच कॉजेज वेंट्रिकुलर सिस्टोल इमीडिएटली आफ्टर क्यू। बेटा इमीडिएटली आफ्टर क्यू, यहाँ पर तक क्या हो रहा था? एट्रियम का सिस्टोल था, एंड इन दिस रीजन वेंट्रिकल का सिस्टोल हो रहा है। ओके, नाउ द नेक्स्ट थिंग, QRS wave and ST interval represent ventricular contraction and it lasts for 0.3 seconds. T wave represent its last wave and T represent the repolarization. बेटा वन इज पोलराइजेशन, डीपोलराइजेशन भी बता दिया जहाँ आयन शिफ्ट हो रहे हैं, एंड व्हाट इज द रीपोलराइजेशन मीन्स? अगेन सपोज सम मसल्स एंड हेयर positive ions are there, and you know, sorry, here negative ions are there, and we know it, here positive and here negative ion was there. So how the ions are shifting in this mode? Okay, so it gets to be in a normal condition. Repolarization का मतलब होता है relaxation position. Okay, so T wave, that's why it's the end of the one cardiac cycle. एक कार्डिक साइकिल को हम इतनी वेव से समझते हैं, एंड देन ओनली वी आर गेटिंग द ECG इज फॉर्म्ड ऑफ बोथ डीपोलराइजेशन एंड रीपोलराइजेशन वेव्स. PRT waves are above the baseline of ECG and they are known as the positive wave, and QS नीचे की ओर है ना बेटा, that's why QS is known as the negative wave. I hope this much is clear. You can see again I am telling you, PRT is above the line, that's why PRT is known as the positive wave, and QS is downside, that's why it's known as the negative wave. I hope these things are clear. So what is the significance of ECG? If there is any kind of disturbance present in this cycle, any systolic movement and diastolic movement, it can be identified or detected or diagnosed by this graph. Okay, if there is any kind of changes in this movement, suppose if there is a changes in diastolic movement, there is a change in diastolic movement, so it tell us there is any problem in SA node, maybe there is a problem in AV node, maybe there is a problem in the muscle of atrial. Okay, if there is any changes, any problem in ventricle, so that time we will get the eruptive wave of QRS. So this abnormality can be diagnosed by the ECG. I hope ECG is clear. If you have any query regarding this, please send me children. Thank you.